Can new graduate nurses work remotely? What are the non-bedside nursing options for new graduates, even if they don't want to be in a remote space? Hey, what's up? I'm Emma, founder of Nurse Fern, your source for remote nursing jobs and all the tools you need to get one. I am gonna chat with you today about new graduate nurses. As always, if you enjoy the Nurse Fern content, if you could please help us out and give this video a thumbs up, that's all I'm gonna say about that, so thank you. Let's debunk a couple myths about new graduate nurses and the nursing profession. So the first one that I think social media really has beaten recently, which makes me so happy and proud of the nursing community, is that new graduate nurses need to start in medical surgical. I think it's really awesome that there's been a lot of very strong, well-backed opinions about how med-surg is its own specialty. It's not this training ground for new nurses. If it's someplace that you want to start, that's amazing, but if you don't want to start in med-surg, you don't have to. It is an amazing place to hone skills, learn how to take care of multiple patients at a time, manage family members, prioritize, delegate, but those are also skills that are required in different capacities in all specialties of nursing. So if med-surg is the specialty that you want, it's a great place to start. But if you want to start in a different specialty, that's okay too. Another myth is that new graduate nurses can't or shouldn't work remotely. Now, you'll often see this in forums and different discussions. It kind of falls along with like the Pain Olympics, that I've been in nursing for this many number of years and I can't get a remote job, that I have all these skills and knowledge from working as a nurse, so you shouldn't be able to get it because I have all of this and I can't. You need to pay your dues. That's totally false. Some companies really are looking for nurses who don't have experience yet so that they can train them in the way they want to and get them early in their careers. Now also, this does fall along with the caveat of perhaps new graduate nurses are cheaper, which we know they are, so companies may want to work with them more because it's going to be not only cheaper labor, but they also get to mold them. Along the lines of the last myth, this one is that you need clinical experience to be able to work in a remote or non-bedside, non-patient care environment. The basis behind that opinion is that a nurse's knowledge from patient care is the foundation for what carries them across all other roles. It's really hard to get out of that mode, much like you must start in med-surg, that you could start somewhere that doesn't involve patient care as a nurse and be an excellent nurse in your specialty. When I first started in CDI, one of the consultants that we worked with was talking to us about her nursing path. She had worked for an insurance company before she finished nursing school, and when she finished nursing school, she never worked with patients. The insurance company tapped her immediately to work in a nurse position with them. So although she has 20 plus years of experience as a nurse, none of them have been with direct patient care. Now that we've gotten those myths out of the way, let's talk about what types of positions, remote or non-bedside, that new graduate nurses can get into. And truly, it is the sky is the limit. If an employer is willing to hire and train you as a new graduate nurse, you can start there. Okay, we have a great article on new graduate nurses and working remotely that I'm going to link in the description and hopefully a card soon. We're almost there for getting our watch hours. So big elephant in the room, challenges are going to be different as a new graduate nurse in a non-bedside or remote environment than they are in a clinical environment. And you might be familiar already if you're a new nurse because you've just been in your clinicals for nursing school about what some of those challenges might be. So you know about all the ones like trouble getting breaks, bathroom breaks, communicating with providers, and even organizing and getting your patient care done for the day. Now in a non-bedside or remote nursing role, some of the challenges are a little bit different and include things like meeting your metrics, which can be things like chart reviews or patient contact, different type of issue with communication with coworkers, because you're not going to have anybody, if you're working remotely, in the same room as you. So you're going to have to hunt them down on a platform like Teams or via phone, email, something like that. And when you work in clinical or in a traditional non-bedside role, you usually have team members around you that you can directly speak with. Wherever you start as a new graduate nurse, you are going to have mental stress that comes with starting a new role and learning an entirely new process. And that is normal. At Nurse Fern, we often see larger companies being willing to train nurses that don't have experience, and that's because they have the resources to put into training. Some non-bedside and remote roles that we've seen new graduate nurses get into include telephonic triage, data abstraction, case management, utilization review, denials and appeals, prior auths, really there are a lot of options for you as a new graduate nurse. But it is also very common to have a hard time weeding through job postings to find the ones that would be willing to hire you. And almost like nurses who live in non-compact states, it's going to be a lot of job postings you're weeding through to find the few that would apply to you. There are some skills that you have that I want to make sure that if you have them, you are leveraging them on your resume, because it's not all about the experience you have as a nurse, because right now you don't have any as a new graduate nurse, but about the things that you've done in your past that translate to what these roles want. This includes things like if you worked as a CNA or as a unit clerk. Did you tutor Did you tutor students while you were in nursing school? Did you do any major writing projects? Are you a really good writer? Do you have experience in the past in data entry, customer service? All of these transferable skills should be on your resume to help highlight what you have and what you bring. Some ways that you can get ahead and have more success, hopefully, in your remote and non-bedside job search are to look for a few things. Look for companies that have several job postings and openings. Big companies that they probably have more robust training departments. Now, while they might not be the most desirable jobs for the long run, but companies that have high turnover are having to train a lot of people at once, and you'll be able to gain valuable experience while you really cultivate what you want in your nursing job and what companies you want to target. So don't be afraid of looking at those companies with high turnover that can give you the experience you need, even though you'll be there for a short time, not the long haul. Now, as a new graduate nurse, you're probably not used to the acute care salary yet that many nurses have and are very afraid to give up and don't want to take potential pay cuts or have the uncertainty of having a base pay with a bonus structure. Those can all be very scary things for nurses who are used to higher paying jobs. Since you haven't experienced that yet, you almost have more flexibility than someone else does who's gotten used to a higher salary. And you can look for positions that are with companies you want to work for, but some of the postings that they have open don't require an RN degree, but definitely offer the gateway to getting to a different role within that company. You might see this with health tech startups with coordinator positions that work with the nursing departments. They're the first line, almost like a unit clerk, fielding all of the information and getting it to the right people. Now, if your goal is not necessarily remote nursing, but something non-bedside, here are some other ideas for jobs you could look for. Clinic nursing, home health, school nursing, freelance writing, mobile infusions, and health coaching. As a new graduate nurse, there truly are many, many options for you. It's just really narrowing down what you want and getting a plan together to get into that position. The field of nursing is constantly evolving, which is really exciting. And there are more opportunities as things expand in the health tech and healthcare world, especially with the last few years, that have opened the possibilities for what is available to you as a nurse. I want to encourage you that if you walk a slightly different path than the normal nurse who graduates and goes straight into acute care, which is also okay, that's what I did initially, but if you have that inkling from the start that that's not where you're supposed to be and you want to try something new, don't force yourself to go along with the typical path. I've seen some nurses who have no clinical experience do some really cool things in the nursing world, and I want to encourage you to follow your unique interests. And if you want to learn more about remote nursing, you might find one of the videos that pops up on the screen right now as the next great watch for you to learn more.